Hi again, everybody. I thought I would make one more vlog while it was on my mind before I forget it. Because, as older people, we might, ooh, look, coming to the light. Ooh. We might forget what we were going to talk about, right? And I know I look a fright, but, I just got done cleaning the house. So, what do you expect? It's 4:12 p.m. here on Monday afternoon. I'm going to make this, upload it, and then I think I'm going to lay down for a short bit before I start dinner. Um, uh, I just got done doing all my housework, I thought about so many of us are disabled, one form or another, and I just kind of wanted to talk about how I deal personally with my disabilities and with my husband's disabilities, and how I came to terms with it and how I make the most of it. Just to help encourage. And what I do may not work for you. I am no expert. I am just me. And, I just thought, I would just share some of my views and opinions about it. If we are all so graced with growing older, at some point in time, we are going to become disabled by something. It's kind of, instead of looking at it, and when I first started having mobility problems, you really start getting very down about it. Once you realize that it's not just an injury that you're going to recover from, that this is your new norm, that your arthritis isn't going to go away all of a sudden, or your knee problems, or your edema, if you have lymphedema, if you have cellulitis, if you have degenerative joints, maybe you have breathing problems, maybe you have heart problems, you maybe have back problems, maybe you have lupus, or maybe you have MS, or fibromyalgia, or any host of many, many things. Oh, hi, Kat. Once you realize that it's not just an owie that you're going to recover from, then it's hard, because your life as you knew it before is not going to go back to that. And you can even have friends and family say to you, I wish you would go back to how you used to be. And you just have to calmly and nicely say to them, so do I, but that's never going to happen. This is just how I am now. I mean, that's like wishing that you were 18 years old again. It's never going to happen. That's a hard thing to get used to, and it's a hard thing not to blame yourself and feel down about yourself. The loss of mobility and the loss of being able to do things. But for me, what it has become is, okay, I may not be able to do some things mobility-wise. But that doesn't mean all of me is disabled. There's just parts of me that don't function the way that they should. Mechanically, that part is not, that wheel bearing is not turning like it should. And there's days that it's worse than the others. And once in a while, you'll have a beautiful day where you almost don't notice that you have anything any longer. And boy, do I celebrate those days, and I always overdo it. But, then there's other days where you just do not feel well with whatever you have, and you have to take a day of rest. Because you know that otherwise you're going to get so worn down, you're going to get very ill. And go ahead and allow yourself to do that. And then there's just days where maybe you feel tired, and maybe the bird was almost standing on his head, putting his head all the way down the bird feeder, this great big dove. There's days where, like today, okay, my hip and my knee hurt, and a couple of times it started Charlie horsing on me. So I would clean a little bit, and then I would come sit down. And clean a little bit more, come sit down. And just rest it and then get back up and do some more. And I did manage to get all my housework done. Which was a lot of it, and especially on Mondays. And I even managed to figure out how we have one of those big self-watering dog water containers. You know how it's like a great big water bottle you fill up and then you turn it upside down? Well, my husband usually does that because it's really hard for me to lift and it's very heavy. But with his back, really realistically, my back is probably stronger right now than his. So I figured out how to be able to do it, and I was able to do it, so I'm very happy about that. But I find I can still do a lot of things that I enjoy doing. It might just take me longer. I can still go shopping. It just might take me longer, or I would have to be pushed in a wheelchair, but I can still go and do that kind of stuff. I have a wheelchair that accommodates me beautifully. You have to get people that are willing to look past your disability and just treat you like a normal person still, because you are. All of us with disabilities, we're just normal people on the inside. It's just the body is just malfunctioning. I can still go fishing and everything else. We just have to go about it a little bit differently. If I'm having a bad breathing day because of the asthma, then we've got to take precautions with that. With my husband, with him being disabled because of his diabetic neuropathy and because of his back problem, we just have to take things slower. We just have to do things. We have to go from, no, he can't bowl anymore and he can't do some of the other things, but there's still a lot of things he can do. Like he likes to go rock hunting. He likes to go fishing. He likes to go for walks. There's lots of things on good days that he can still do. And like that, if he was having an off day and I'm doing okay, I'd be more than happy to push him use a wheelchair and me push him. Hell, we can take turns. I'll sit in the wheelchair for a little while, he can push me, and then we'll just switch. Being together and just making the most of your life. But don't let anybody discount you like you're not as good as everybody else because you have a disability. Yes, we may have to stay inside sometime. We may have to take it slower. But the way I look at it is this. If I didn't have a disability, I wouldn't have taken life slower and have learned the beauty of it and learned to stop and smell the roses. Because sometimes when you're having an off day and you don't feel well, you don't have any choice but to take that time to stop and smell those roses and enjoy the beauty around you, because you're just sitting there until you feel well enough to get up and do more things. So, we're all beautiful people. Like I said, our bodies may be malfunctioning in one way or another, but and if you see somebody in a wheelchair, and even if it's somebody that you've known before and then they weren't, just come up and talk to them like they're just a normal person like they were before, because we are, or if you see somebody walking with a cane or something, and don't be afraid to invite somebody who is having a hard time and is having a hard time mobility-wise, to invite them to come along. They may tell you no, because maybe they don't feel well, or maybe they don't feel like going out that day. Or they may feel like, yes, but I don't want to be a burden because we would have to use a wheelchair, or I would have to ride an electric cart. If you let them know, that's fine, and that doesn't bother you at all, and that you would love to have them come along, you never know. If you make accommodations for people with disabilities, that the more that we are out there with disabilities and also plus size people, the more that we don't hide in our houses and we go out, the less odd we seem. The more people seen in wheelchairs, the more people seen with walkers and canes and on oxygen, and the more people, plus size people, seen out, then you're not an oddity, and it's really not that strange. If you have let's say you have me, who is a plus size woman who has mobility problem, and you saw me being pushed in a wheelchair. You're my friend. You wouldn't think anything of it. You know. So if you make accommodations, say I wanted to go to church with you, but you make accommodations and you say, hey, no problem. I know you can't sit in those hard wooden pews. We can either, one, bring a cushion for you, which I've seen done, or two, we'll just bring you a wheelchair. And you can sit right here at this other end of the pew, and I'll sit right next to you, and we'll just be happy clams. Or, a concert, or, shopping, or maybe a restaurant. Maybe all they offer is booth seating. And you're like, okay, well, number one, our choices are either they're going to accommodate this plus-size person, or this person in a wheelchair, or both, or else we're going to choose to sit somewhere. We're going to choose to eat somewhere else. So that's just my viewpoint. I hope that helps anybody. We're all the same on the inside, whether you're skinny, fat, tall, short, whatever disability you have. As we age, we are all going to get a disability if we're lucky enough to age. So some of us have gotten it from birth. Some have gotten it as we've aged. But we're all going to get different disabilities as we get older. That kind of, warped sense of thinking is a beautiful part of life, that we are lucky enough to age. Because there's some people that never even make it out of the womb alive. There's some that die a very young death and stuff. They never allowed all these additional years that we are, But, like I said, don't discount us people with disabilities. And even if we're disabled, and maybe we can't go out of our house that day, maybe we have a low immune system, like sometimes I can't go out because of my immune deficiency. But if you say, you know what, I'd love to come over and just chit-chat with you. I don't care what your house looks like. If you need help doing something, I'll help you do your dishes, or I'll help you, let me bring over a cake, you put on some coffee, we're just going to sit and chit-chat. We'd love that too. We would love that too. So, anyway, that's my viewpoint, and I hope that helps anybody. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm going to upload this, and then I'm going to take a little nap and lay down for about an hour before I got to start dinner. So, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.